can't see anything. It's like driving on marbles. Taking your life into your own hands doing that. That's awesome. Gotta love the serenity. Wonder why. We're going basic this time. You won't be pissing everyone off. Been a long time in the making. Fire full of cans and poo tickets. They are brand new. A couple of things wrong with that. There's no one down the swimming hole. Is it cold? We don't have a snorkel. What's that all about? The lad's cold. Check this out. This is the foothills of the Avon Wilderness. Just out the back here you got Ben Croken and Little Ben. I'll show you a little app in a minute which will help identify all these peaks if you're not familiar with an area. We're at a place here called Huggett's Lookout. It's quite a good lookout as well. And we've picked a cracker of a day. Check this out. Bloody ripper. It was cool this morning. So I'm out with the lad and we're going to have a quick overnighter. It's actually a bit of a shakedown trip. Been a long time in the making. We've had a little project going in the background, but this is the shakedown trip, the maiden voyage if you like, of the HJ75 1985 Toyota Landcruiser cab chassis. Pretty agricultural, we might call it the tradie truck. Anyway, we're going to do a little circuit and back home tomorrow. Come along with us. I've got this app, Peak Finder. So it's got the data in it. You just got to line up the horizon with what you're looking at through the camera, and then it gives you the names of all the peaks around. So Ben Croken, that prominent one there, and little Ben, and you can use that wherever you are. It's a bloody ripper little app. It costs a couple of bucks. It means when you're doing this sort of stuff you can see exactly what you're looking at. Thanks to Seb for putting me onto that. That's awesome little app. Well, we're here at this Huggett's Lookout. I reckon there was 100 motorbikes went past. There was 100. There was a fair contingent of four-wheel drives as well, so I suspect we won't be out on the tracks on our own, but well, they've all passed us now and we can trudge along behind them without holding anyone up. It's a cracker of a day though. The sun's just streaming in. Quite warm now, but it was cool earlier. They are forecasting snow on the peaks down to about 1100 metres. Not that we're going anywhere near that elevation, but it's just indicative of what's passing through. Check this out. This would have to be one of the best swimming holes going round. It's a shame it's the middle of winter or close to it. I won't be going in. If you're looking for a good swimming hole, this is it. Avon River, Huggett's Crossing. Bit of traffic around there. It's so busy out here this weekend. Bloody motorbikes and four-wheel drives everywhere. But there's no one down the swimming hole. Wonder why. It's only about a 2-minute walk from the campsite down to that water hole there, down to that swimming hole. And the campsite's just up in here. I'm not sure why people do it, but there's hundreds of kilometres of tracks around here that people could ride their motorbikes on. And they're riding them around in the bloody campsite. Get out and have a look around, people. There's far better spots to be riding your motorbike out in the bush, and you won't be pissing everyone off in the campsite. There's people everywhere in the campsite and there's stooges riding around amongst them. What's that all about? Great spot to pull up for a cup of tea. Gotta love the serenity. Bit of two-stroke in the morning. It's not going anywhere. We're going to turn off just up here along this lower block. Big Croken Creek lower block, I'm going to call it that. And it's got a number of river crossings and nice little track meanders on the river flats, a few ups and overs. The plan is to try and find somewhere along there, camp up for the night. A little drop off here. I've got no idea. I'm relying on the lad to tell me there's actually a track there because I can't see anything. clutch. And work out capabilities of this truck. Got plenty of torque in first gear, high first that is, but anything outside of that dies in the bum pretty quick. Surprising how much traction the old girl's got. So it's unlocked, so there's no diff locks, just a set of muddies, pretty much standard suspension. I think our tyres 265, 75, 16. Good ride, mud terrain, nothing but the best here. They are brand new. It's quite conglomerate-y sort of country, so it's like driving on marbles. Sort of got all these little switchbacks and drop-offs, and they're quite wombat holey, and little step-ups, and in our case step downs. I could get a bit of an angle up. Beauty. And plenty of clearance. Get around this corner in one hit. Just trying to sort of learn, understand the vehicle. See where it's got traction, where it hasn't, where it's got flex, where it hasn't. It hasn't very often got flex. It's a pretty easy run along here. You feel little up and overs and just meanders through. It's all foothill country, so there's nothing overly steep. It can get really breezy through here though. Coming down to a creek crossing here, and I've just got to be mindful we don't have a snorkel. River crossing here, it's all stirred up. Somebody's obviously in front of us, it's hard to see. And I'm very mindful that we don't have a snorkel. So, just feel our way. Hopefully we can back out if it's too deep. I don't know, I think we're coming out the other side, not too bad. Oh, I wonder where it goes here. Hopefully there's a track under here somewhere. When it's all clear, it's good, you can see it. I mean, it can be deceiving because it can be deeper than it looks, but at least you can see the bottom. At the moment I can't see the bottom. It wasn't too bad. Oh, there's tough skin. Tough skin, and there's 4 of them, so what's that make it? So we've got jalapeno and cheese, we've got lamb and rosemary, and we've got black pepper and Worcester. What we've got really is lots of flavour. Here's another one of these cracking swimming holes or water holes. This is Ben Croken Creek actually, and there's no full drive access. I've walked up the creek probably 500 yards from the last creek crossing where we're cooking up a few snags for lunch and just having a bit of a poke around, and you find spots like this. One of the things that happens in here is you get these awesome nice gravel shelves, and the reason they're there is because of floodwater. And you get a lot of people camp down here. There's a couple of things wrong with that, but the other thing with this catchment here, this is the Avon River catchment. This is the quickest rising catchment in the southern hemisphere. Get a bit of rain up there on Mount Wellington or anywhere in this catchment and it just comes up and whooshes through here. Unbelievable. It's renowned for it, and yet people happily camp down on these rivers, on these lovely gravel river banks, taking your life into your own hands doing that. Probably one of life's little pleasures. Tasty snag on bread, buttered of course, a bit of dead horse, out in the bush next to a river, putting the new truck to its paces with the lad. Cracker of a day. Probably as good as it gets. It's as simple as it gets, and it's as good as it gets. It's a bit hot. Had lunch back there, a couple of crossings back actually, which was a good lunch too, I might add. Now the track just wanders over another half a dozen creek crossings, then it's going to kick up and go over a significant high point, Mount Demouge, something like that. Is that right? I don't know. It drops back down to the creek again. Ooh, what are we doing here? Not too bad. Go up to see over the bonnet the old truck at times. Don't know what's ahead of you. Come across this little rocky escarpment here. Nice little lookout. Get a bit of view out towards Mount Hump and further out into the wilderness area. Some grass trees, Xanthorrhea, and it's Mount Hump out there in the background. Succession of steps. It's hard to see what's outside of some of them. Dropping back down towards the creek again now, so we'll starting to think about somewhere to camp. Got to get a bit of firewood and usual bumming around. We don't have to be pulling into camp in the dark. We won't. Pulled over and collected a bit of firewood. We felt that once we drop down into the valley it's going to all be a little bit damp, so opted to get some on the north facing hillside. We just pulled up in a little campsite. The river's just down, literally just down here, 20 metres if that. It's Bencroken Creek. There was a big spot further back there, quite open. Cup's a bit of a flogging by the looks of things. This time of the day could still get a fair sized group turn up. We're looking for a bit of space as well. So anyway, we've pulled up into this little spot. This will do us. We're just doing a swag camp tonight, but the usual obligatory bloody fire full of cans and poo tickets seems to be what happens these days. But we'll clean that up a bit, have a nice fire. We're going basic this time, so we don't have our fire pit or any of that salubrious camping gear. It's pretty primitive. We'll also have a bit of an explore down the river. I might kick back, crack a frothy and let the lad get the fire going.
We don't have any frothies.
Oh, might have to boil the billy then. How cool's this? What a great bloody stretch of river here. Crystal clear. Not overly deep, but you know, if you're inclined, you'll be able to get wet enough to have a bit of a tub up. Literally, yep, 10 metres if that to campsite. Little track down there. You can probably just see the truck parked in there next to the fireplace. This is awesome. I've never camped here before. I've been through here plenty of times, but I've never camped here. Driving through here today, I'm thinking, where are we going to camp? I didn't have anything in mind exactly where I was aiming for, other than I knew there was a couple of these little spots poking off the track, and we're always running the gauntlet, I suppose. It could have been full. There was plenty of people camped further back in the river. No one seems to be camped in any of the actual campsites up off the river, so fortunate for us, because I'm not big on camping in the river myself, especially this river. For a quick overnighter, we've actually got a fair bit of gear. Probably went over the top. Oh well, we just threw it all in. We're either going bushwalking or we're going away in our other ultra tourer in the Iveco truck. All set up, put the camper on the back and off we go. In this case, there was nothing in this truck. We didn't have a thing. There wasn't a spanner, there wasn't a screwdriver, there was nothing. So we had to sort of bring everything, start from scratch. Pretty simple. The esky over the back there, the tucker box and utensils box there. couple of swags, couple of chairs. Didn't know where we're going to end up, so we've thrown in a jerry can of water, a couple of bags of personal gear. Because we're in the high country, always got a chainsaw. This time we've bought the bigger Husqvarna, just the standard box of chainsaw tools and bits and pieces. Got our fire hot plate there and a little table. Had to throw in a bag of tools. There was nothing in this truck, not a thing. Anyway, it's pretty simple. We just threw the tarp over it and a couple of ratchet straps and it's done the job. Didn't rain, wasn't dusty, so it wasn't an issue. There's no shortage of room in these trays. I think it's about 2.3 long and 1800 wide, so that's a fair bit of real estate there. Anyway, what a cracking spot. Great day. Put the truck through its paces. It was awesome. Yeah, very capable. Just holds its own. Hasn't got the longest legs of vehicles going around, or maybe we're just used to the truck with the 37s and plenty of ground clearance. No shortage of traction. Nothing even looked like stopping it today. Probably not an overly difficult track. We're full driving in the bush, black soil. There's every chance you get stuck somewhere. Right, let's get camp set up. How good's this? Creek down there, only crack of a little spot off the track, no one else around, cup of tea. Just got to dry some of that moisture out of the wood and we'll be right. Get that roaring before it cools down. Sun's certainly gone behind the hill now, so the temperature's dropped. This might be the first of many, I suspect. The lad's got his swag up. I'll put mine up over there. Otherwise, I think we're all settled in. All set up. We might start doing a bit of dinner while it's still daylight. Pretty simple dinner tonight. I think we're going to have a burger with the lot. Looking forward to it. So am I. We've got a few little guests. Yellow belly sapsuckers. Family of them. Pretty inquisitive. They're coming right in here and picking the grubs and bugs out of the wood that we've collected. They're quite chubby little chaps. Like they've been in a good paddock for a while. I think we've got all the important ingredients for a good camp. Swag set up, got the fire going. Good fire too, got a bit of red box here. A little bit of moisture in it, a bit pulpy in the middle, some of the bigger logs, but I'm just holding a little bit of moisture. But now that we've got a bit of heat being generated, it's holding its own and you can actually feel it back here now. It's worth going a bit of effort and getting some quality wood, and we're in good wood country down here. Got a big yellow box right next to us. We've been travelling through box country for the last couple of hours. We thought we'd take the opportunity and get a bit of wood up on the hill. It was likely to be drier than down here. I think we're all right. Billy's boiling. Put some tea leaves in that. Lumpy water, another key ingredient to a good camp. And your hooker. Morning. It's dawning to be a cracker of a morning too. Still early, it's only about 6:30. Just got the fire going. There's barely any dew on the canvas, so it'll make packing up a lot easier. Lad's still tucked up in his cocoon over there. I used the homemade swag last night and once again performed superbly. We are on a bit of a mission this morning, packed down pretty early and hit the road. Probably only an hour's drive to get to home, but the lad's got other appointments that he needs to get to. Anyway, got a cracker fire going. We're going to cook up a bit of a breakfast and boil a billy, of course, probably a couple of times I suspect. Won't take long to pack up and hit the road. The early bird catches the worm, or in this case catches the mist rising off the water. We just camped just in here. I think the lad's just made another cuppa, so I better head back. Getting here from our camp actually was no easy feat. I had to go right around or take the plunge. It was a bit early and a bit cool to be doing that. Anyway, look at that. That's why you do it. That's
That's why we come here. That's why we do what we do. Brilliant. I just thought I'd do a little run through of our setup when we're doing this sort of camping. Keep it pretty simple. I've got my trusty Swent, my pitch black homemade swag. Look, it works perfectly. It's not lightweight, but it packs up small. I don't have a mattress that stays in it. I use the bushwalking gear, and it just means that I've got a bit of versatility in my setup. Don't have to duplicate anything. This is all good gear, so why not use it? So just the standard, this is a MacPack something or other sleeping bag, winter bag, good bag. First time I've used it, my Alton Goods pillow. I thought it might have been a bit noisy through use. It seems to have a bladder in it rather than a sealed up case itself. It's got an internal bladder, but no, it didn't make any noise that I heard anyway. Not sure how you let it down. There's a little one-way valve there. But it's got a sort of a fleecy sort of cottony outer, and pretty comfy actually. Quite impressed. I had to replace the old one, the old Cedar Summit one, because I left it somewhere. Not sure, can't find the bloody thing. I'm not really impressed with the way it packs up in terms of the little bag that it goes in. It's just a little bit clunky, and I don't know, just probably loses a few points there. The profile of the bag doesn't quite suit the final shape of the rolled up pillow, but it's semantics really, it's minor. Anyway, so there's the Alton Goods pillow, MacPack winter sleeping bag, and then I've got me very comfortable, actually, very comfortable Cedar Summit Ethelite XT Extreme. It's quite insulated, this one, compared to just the standard Ethelite XT. There's probably an Ethelite too. Very comfy, a little bit noisy potentially, but I don't notice that if I'm asleep. Everyone else probably does. So anyway, it's a pretty simple sleep system. Very happy with that. So we're just packing down. Well, we got the belly on for one last cup of tea. That'll be about number 4, I think, this morning. That's not bad. And hit the track. We want to be home by lunchtime. So it's about, I'm guessing from here, it's probably an hour's drive if we don't bum around. So we'll pack down and hit the road. Just thought I'd take a moment to talk about putting fires out. You can't quantify whether the fire's out by a certain volume of water that you've put on. So 10 litres of water might put out some fires, but 10 litres of water possibly not going to put out other fires. So there is a bit of a rule of thumb, and that is if it's cold to touch, it's cold to leave. So it's not about how much water you put on, it's about is it cold, and if it's cold it's safe to leave. So yeah, we had quite a cranking fire going here this morning, so it's actually going to take a fair bit more water to put it out than what it would have if we didn't light the fire again this morning and it had just had overnight to cool down. There would have still been heat in it, and there was this morning, so we still would have had to put water on it. Now this is going to take a lot of water to put this out, and a good sign is if there's still smoke or steam coming off it, there's still heat in there. Bottom line, you don't get steam or you don't get smoke if there's no heat. So if your fire's still steaming or still smoking, then there's still heat in there. Dig it up, turn it over, find that heat. It's effectively blacking it out. It's a firefighting technique. We actually blacken out the fire. If it's cold to touch, it's safe to leave. And that's, you know, I'm using that motto, but it's out there. I didn't make it up, and I think it's quite practical and realistic. We'll keep going, and hopefully you'll be able to see when we finish this that it'll be as dead as a dodo. This big log here, so that's going to take a fair bit to black that out. So we'll get some moisture on it, and then we'll break it up a bit and knock it around. And there's no way you can get moisture right into that without opening it up a little bit. And of course, when you've got big logs like that that haven't burnt and you're leaving them behind, you've got to move them and roll them out of the way and get underneath them. That's where the heat's going to be. I've actually rolled this over already. Be a bit methodical in your approach. I heard some statistics just recently, actually, just a couple of days ago. This bit of country that we're in now is one of the most prone bushfire areas in Australia, which probably makes it the world for that matter. And I've heard some numbers just a couple of days ago that this fire season there was something like 60 bushfires, and apparently out of those 60 bushfires there was only a handful of them that were caused by lightning, but it was something like 24 of those fires that they had were actually unattended campfires, or caused by campfires that were left and got out. And that's huge. But what's the cost of that? 50% thereabouts of fires the authorities responded to in this part of the world were as a result of campfires getting out or unattended. That's huge, devastating too. Anyway, that's nowhere near out. We'll do another load. You can imagine the community anxiety when they, people live adjoining these forests. If you're a landowner or resident of community that adjoins these forests, we're all out here recreating, and they're all there thinking, when's the next fire going to burn through my community? And on those shitty fire days, we're up here recreating and having our fire, and we just leave it wander off. Those communities have got to live that anxiety all the time.
Those rocks had some heat in them.
Yeah, they did. That's not out yet. I couldn't put my hand in there yet. You can see the rocks are drying out because they're still holding heat. It's one of the issues with having rocks around your fire. So I'm just turning it over. There's plenty of moisture in there, but you can still see this heat. We just rolled this rock over. That's dry, and I'd struggle. I could almost, I can't hold on to that rock there. Yep, that's had heaps of water on it. And when I turned it over, it was quite hot underneath. Soon find out if there's anything hot when you put your hand in it. Still a little bit of steam coming off that log there. There's ever so slight bit of warmth in it, but I can hang on to it, so it's cool enough to leave. That's not going anywhere, that fire. So that's what we've got to be doing to put our fires out. Bit of work to it, but that's the reality. There's a lot more work to it if the fire's left going and gets out. That's a lot of work by all accounts. That took probably a dozen or more, maybe even 20 billies full. Not a 5-minute job. Not sure how good the demister's working. The old girl fogged up as soon as we got in it. No air conditioning, of course. She took a fair bit to get it going this morning. We got no glow plug system. Fuel's a bit thick. Took a bit to get it going. I was a bit worried there for a minute. The old battery started. So we've got to look into the glow plug system, what's going on. Apparently it was working before the alternator was replaced. So we've got a new alternator, but consequence of that is we've got no glow. So I'm not sure why. If anyone with a 2H engine or anyone with any experience knows what we should be looking for, leave a comment below. We'd appreciate that, because we're all about learning our way around this truck. Down to the creek. Nice up there. Bog hole just here. There's no chicken track, so it's straight through the gut. It's tractor mode. Straddling needed here. That was all right actually. Stayed on the middle of the ruts. Here's another one. See if we can straddle this one without sliding in.
Looks like there's plenty of traction as long as I don't belly out, I think. She actually did it really well, actually. Real easy. Leave the river down there, then Croker Creek, and we climb up to Golden Point. It's just a constant climb. The track's in pretty good nick, actually. It's pretty popular spot for deer hunters around here. We saw a few yesterday, and there's often a crew of them camped up the top here, but it's not too far from the flat country down below, so easy access, all year round access. Does get pretty wet, breezy and chopped up down the bottom in the creek. This country, this foothill country, it's still all accessible through winter. As such, it tends to get a fair crew poking around. Oh, there you go, that's another episode done and dusted. We're up at a place called Pearson Point, just overlooking Lake Glenmaggie there, and then back up into the high country. It's a great spot here. We can actually see home out the back there, so we're not far from home. It's actually a pretty good day for a view. So we've just been poking around for the last only 24 hours probably, just over the back here in Ben Croker Creek and the Avon River, the foothills of the Avon Wilderness. And it's a great part of the world. We've got spots like this. There's numerous of these spots hidden around in here. Some of them are a bit harder to get to than others, but this is a real popular spot, this one. Anyway, we're going to park it up there. We've had a ball. Good 24 hours.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Been brilliant.
Yeah, so we put the new tradie truck through its paces, and I think it went all right.
It went pretty well, yeah.
The lad's cold. He's cold. Oh,
Freezing.
Give the little boy a hug. Oh. Toughen up, lad. Anyway, if you like what we're doing, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button for those that haven't already done so. Leave a comment down below. We appreciate the comments. We try and respond to them. Give us some feedback. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you really think. But we're trying to get the channel out there. It's an emerging channel, and we're still on the growth spurt. So if you can share it amongst your networks, that'd be awesome. We've got some really good things planned coming up real soon, actually. I'm not sure when they'll get on the channel, but we've got some awesome trips coming up. We'll try and get into a bit of warm country, but to get into the warm country you've got to go through the cold country first this time of the year, and so stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, look after yourself. We'll see you next time. Catch up.
It's so cold. Oh my god.